it's been a good run for deals and for the business, and the dividend is back. Why did you choose to bring the dividend back now? And are we going to move to a progressive payout?
Absolutely. So this is the first time we announced a dividend after the merger with ADFG. The dividend is a testament of the great results that we had last year. And we like to, give back to our shareholders. Not only did Shuaa Capital announce a dividend, but believe it or not, 2020 has been the highest year for our portfolio companies to issue a dividend in terms of absolute amount. So that's a great testament to our management style in Shuaa and our value add for our portfolio companies.
Now, obviously, glowing news flow around Agami. We interviewed the CEO just last week, so it's a great news story for the region. Do you have hopes for similar kind of investments? Is that the direction of travel for the business when you say you're looking for more opportunities? Will it mostly be in tech, or will it be in real cash flow businesses like the oil services business, Stanford?
While our history is conventional sectors, we have announced early this year that we will be looking more into technology investments. We will hear about an investment this week also in the tech space in Abu Dhabi that we will be making. I believe that we will continue always to have the conventional sectors, whether financial services, shipping, real estate, and so forth, as something that we continue to do. But also, we will be doing more of technology.
So what are we going to hear this week then in Abu Dhabi?
You will hear it.
Well, when, what size? You can't whet my appetite and say that I'm going to hear about a deal and then not tell me something about it.
Yeah, it's going to be the same size of the Agami transaction. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be in a very interesting space within technology. So keep an eye for it.
Okay, and so could that be another SPAC this year in the pipe?
It's not a SPAC. This week's announcement is not a SPAC, but definitely we are looking at more SPAC and pipe investments for the Middle East companies. Absolutely.
Okay, let's broaden the conversation, Jassim. I know sometimes when you and I get together, when we were in Saudi last year, we were pre-Brexit, and one or two guests have said to me, we're now in a Brovid world, which is post-Brexit and a vaccine rollout that's really quite resplendent. In a Brovid environment, will you deploy more to the UK in terms of investments?
Actually, yes. As you know, this year and next year, we are handing over our two major flagship projects in the UK. And we will definitely recycle part of that capital and third-party funds to continue our strategy for the UK. We have been long-term investors in central London, and we will continue to do that. Over the past 9 years, we have been consistent investors in London, and despite the different shocks in that market, we see a long-term potential, and we continue to see it in our investments.
Jassim, I've caught up with a couple of CEOs and CFOs, the likes of HSBC, the likes of Standard Chartered, the likes of UBS, and they all say, look, we're going to shave back our square footage. Now, that's a global footprint. Do you think that dislocation maybe in commercial property will create big opportunities for you in the UK market?
Well, believe it or not, what's happening when we talk about financial services scaling back into London, who's filling up that space? It's technology companies. So we see more and more tech companies coming into the UK and London specifically as another hub for them, as a global hub for them. So that's what we have been seeing, and the increase or the decrease in cap rates are not helping anyone to be opportunistic today in central London. So people are chasing yield, and we see that reflected on London real estate.
Jassim, this time last year was a tough year in equity markets, to say the very, very least. Equities repriced, bond markets, we all rushed to havens. Are you concerned about any of these valuations that we see, particularly on the technology side? We've got this great debate, haven't we, of whether it's time to exit growth and go to value. Is there anything in markets which you find disconcerting on the equity side, first of all?
So there are a few reasons why we see this this kind of valuation today in global markets. Number one, where would you deploy cash, right? Where would you deploy the money? That's a very important question. Number two is the really democratization of the retail investor today. Today, investors from India or the Middle East can easily invest in US stock markets. They can leave their own markets and invest in US stock markets. They can invest in Bitcoin. They can invest in ETFs and so forth. So 10 years ago, this was not the situation. And definitely 20, 30 years ago, this was not the situation. So today we are in a very different environment. And it's not really wise to be simply comparing PE ratios and price to book ratios and calling it, a valuation top. Today, we are in a very different environment. Capital markets are reacting extremely differently than what we have witnessed in the past. And we might see something completely crazy. Look at the Bitcoin; it's $60,000. Every correction that comes, people talk about the bubble bursting. I myself is not an investor in cryptocurrencies, but that does not mean that that a case for cryptocurrencies is not being made as we go on and see what's happening around the globe with cryptocurrencies.
I mean, we're just showing the price of Bitcoin this morning. It's up over $61,000, Jassim. You've not invested in it, but are you preparing to invest around blockchain? Are you preparing to invest around the crypto environment story? Are you more active in looking at deals in that area?
So I would say two things. Number one, as a financial services firm, we cannot ignore the fact that there is so much of market cap or there's so much of demand on cryptocurrencies. So we will try to find a niche for ourselves as a service provider in financial services in that area. Number two, on whether we will be buying Bitcoins or cryptocurrencies or not. Again, very hard to ignore it today, but as of now, we don't understand it in detail. We are still educating ourselves on it. And, I cannot really tell you what our decision will be in the future. But it's definitely something not to be ignored.
Not to be ignored.